The universe is filled with wonders, both near and far. As an AI engineer, I spend my days exploring the cosmos of algorithms and data. My journey into this world started with a fascination for the intricate dance of ones and zeros, the building blocks of the digital age. For years, I navigated the world of technology, my focus fixed on the logic and precision of code. I built algorithms, trained neural networks, and marveled at the power of artificial intelligence to mimic and even surpass human capabilities. But something extraordinary happened along the way. I began to notice patterns, connections that transcended the digital realm and spilled over into my senses. It started subtly, a whisper of color in a line of code, a hint of melody in a complex equation. One evening, as I was working on a particularly challenging algorithm, it hit me with the force of a revelation. The lines of code I had written were no longer just abstract symbols. They were awash in a vibrant spectrum of colors, each character shimmering with its own unique hue. The realization was both exhilarating and unsettling. My world, once grounded in the concrete logic of computer science, was now infused with an unexpected layer of sensory perception. What I was experiencing, I soon learned, was a neurological phenomenon known as synesthesia. Synesthesia is a condition in which stimulation of one sensory or cognitive pathway leads to automatic involuntary experiences in a second sensory or cognitive pathway. For some synesthetes, numbers might evoke specific colors, while others might experience tastes in response to certain sounds. In my case, it was the world of code and algorithms that triggered these extraordinary sensory experiences. Lines of code transformed into shimmering rainbows, mathematical equations resonated with harmonious melodies, and even the abstract concepts of machine learning took on tangible shapes and textures. Discovering my own synesthesia was like unlocking a hidden chamber in my mind, a chamber filled with a symphony of colors, sounds, and textures. It was both awe-inspiring and a little overwhelming at first, like being handed the conductor's baton for an orchestra I never knew existed. As I learned to navigate this newfound sensory landscape, I began to realize that my synesthesia wasn't just a curious anomaly. It was an integral part of who I was. It influenced the way I thought, the way I worked, and the way I experienced the world around me. The same sensory associations that initially surprised me began to inform my coding, allowing me to see patterns and connections within the data that I might have otherwise missed. Synesthesia wasn't just changing the way I perceived my work, it was changing the way I approached it, infusing it with a sense of artistry and creativity. Opportunities for sensory exploration. Section 5, Where Art Meets Algorithm. My journey as an AI engineer took an unexpected turn when I discovered a way to merge my passion for technology with my synesthetic experiences. I became fascinated by the idea of translating the sensory richness of my internal world into something tangible, something that others could experience as well. This led me to my current project, developing an algorithm that can convert images into sound effects. The goal is to create a system that can analyze the visual elements of an image, its colors, shapes, textures, and translate those elements into a corresponding soundscape. Imagine taking a photograph of a bustling city street and hearing the roar of traffic, the chatter of pedestrians, and the distant wail of sirens, all generated from the visual information contained within the image. This project is about bridging the gap between the visual and the auditory, about finding ways to represent the world around us in new and innovative ways. Section 6, From Pixels to Soundwaves. The process of converting images into sound effects is a complex one, requiring a deep understanding of both visual and auditory perception. It's like teaching a computer to see and hear the world through the lens of synesthesia, to recognize the inherent connections between different sensory modalities. At the heart of this endeavor lies the challenge of translating visual information into its sonic equivalent. How do you capture the warmth of a sunset, the coolness of a forest stream, or the vibrancy of a city street using only sound? The key lies in identifying the underlying principles that govern our perception of both sight and sound. High-pitched sounds tend to be associated with excitement and energy, while low-pitched sounds evoke feelings of calmness and relaxation. By mapping these perceptual connections onto an algorithmic framework, I'm creating a system that can analyze the visual elements of an image and generate a corresponding soundscape that reflects its unique qualities. It's like teaching a computer to speak the language of synesthesia, to translate the silent symphony of colors and shapes into a world of sound and texture. Section 7, the Algorithmic Composer. In essence, I'm building an algorithmic composer, a system that can analyze visual data and transform it into a symphony of sound. This involves breaking down an image into its constituent elements, colors, shapes, textures, and then using those elements as parameters to generate corresponding sounds. The color palette of an image might dictate the overall tonality of the soundscape. The shapes and patterns within an image can influence the rhythm and melody of the generated sound. Even the texture of an image can be conveyed through sound. By carefully mapping these visual elements to their sonic counterparts, I'm creating a system that can generate sound effects that are not merely descriptive, but also evocative, capturing the mood, atmosphere, and emotional resonance of the original image. It's about transforming visual data into an immersive sensory experience, a symphony of sound that resonates with the viewer on a deeper, more visceral. Their own assumptions about the nature of reality and to embrace the extraordinary potential that lies within the human mind, lie within the universe and within ourselves.